Yeah, the Crystal Palace anthem was boomed out after the game at Wembley. A marvellous moment for everyone involved in the club. The manager, Oliver Glasner, spoke about why the result mattered so much after the game.
This is the biggest achievement of this group of the players. We said to them, you can be proud because you give 10,000 of South London residents, of Crystal Palace fans, you're giving them such a great time, and the best thing you can achieve as a person, not just as a football player, is, that when you give so many people a good time, they forget all the problems maybe they have in their normal life. And I think yesterday, tomorrow, they are just enjoying, and this is the biggest achievement what we could give to our supporters. And
let's speak to a man who was at the game at the weekend. He's had 2 spells in charge at Selhurst Park, as well as boyhood club too. Huge part of the stability that's led to their recent success. Roy Hodgson will be joining us in just a moment, but what an occasion it was. And I'm going to ask Roy this, Coisty.
Yep.
But there's something about Crystal Palace. What is it about Crystal Palace that makes it a special club?
I know. And he'll be far better qualified to answer that question than I will. But I could tell, I mentioned to you that Saturday morning, Jeff, there was just something in the air, mate. I'm telling you, I know it's the wrong song, but there was something in the air. When I left that hotel to jump on the underground, there was a feeling. I could see all those jerseys, all the guys and the girls and the kids out, and I just felt, I could smell it, mate. And
felt it in your bones, yeah.
I did. I just felt it, mate. And being at the game up at the Etihad, where they were beaten, it's a crazy thing to say, where they were beaten 5-2, I just knew they had a proper chance.
Yeah. Look, let's ask that question too, Roy. I'm delighted to say we've been joined by Roy Hodgson. Morning, Roy.
Good morning, Roy.
Hello, gentlemen. How are you?
Yeah, very good.
Well,
thanks, Roy. I know you're at the game, but rather than ask you about the specifics of the game first, Roy, what is it that makes Crystal Palace such a special club?
Yeah, it's a very good question, of course. I think that there is a warmth to the club. I think the players, when they come there, they feel that they belong and that they're going to be treated properly, and the club has got their best interests at heart. And I think with that, it's easier to create that environment, which gives you an opportunity to get a good team spirit. If you get sort of players who want to buy into that team spirit, then it's quite easy to profit from that, I think, and the club deserves a great deal of credit for creating that environment.
Roy, can I ask you something? I said earlier, I was at the game, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I actually enjoyed the pre-match, just walking up and feeling the atmosphere. And I said to Jeff earlier this morning, Roy, I think I detected a difference in the Palace fans, and indeed football fans going to Wembley. Normally, when a team's going as, I don't like to use the term underdog, but perhaps second favourites, there's more hope than belief. But I felt on Saturday with the Palace fans, it was actually more belief. There was obviously hope as well, but there was much more belief.
I think it's a very good observation, Ali, that. I think so too. I think I was at the semi-final, of course. I was lucky enough to be at both games, and both were excellent performances, but not only from the team, but also from the fans. I think in both games, their encouragement, their enthusiasm, and as you say, their belief must have played a part in helping the team through 2 quite difficult games, which, as you rightly say, they started as underdogs.
And we all know, Roy, South London, it's famous hotbed of football. Some fantastic footballing talent come out of there. But does this win, do you think, will it inspire even more kids in the game?
I hope so. I think the club has done extremely well over the last, 5 years now, really, in building the academy and spending a lot of money on the academy to make certain that they can compete as best they can with the bigger London rivals around them, because there's no doubt that it is a hotbed of talent. But as you both well know, a hotbed of talent in your particular area doesn't always count for that much, because the bigger clubs are also working in those areas too. So it's one thing finding the young player and bringing him up through your academy, but then you've got to try and keep him. But I think that the academy status now that the club and the facilities are going to play a big part. And of course, a success like the club has now had will also play a major part in attracting players to Crystal Palace. So I think it was a very, very important day for the club yesterday. It was a bit of a sort of crowning moment, if you like, for a number of years that Steve Parish has put in trying to improve the club and make it a stronger force in the region.
I don't think MD can argue, Roy. Probably outside City, and as Jeff said, maybe Brighton. It's been a really, really popular win. When Newcastle win the League Cup, Palace win the FA Cup, I think everybody can see, in this kind of respect, change has been pretty good. But the one thing that stood out for me, Roy, at the weekend, looking at the whole campaign, I saw them play. Obviously, the semi-final against Villa, but at Fulham, I was really, really impressed with them at Fulham. I thought without the ball, they were as good a team as I've actually seen in terms of their organisation. For them to go through that tournament and only lose one goal, which I think Millwall scored against the FA Cup, that's a remarkable achievement also. It
is indeed, and what's more, their path to the final, one mustn't forget, was a tough one. I mean, you mentioned Fulham. We've got Aston Villa and Man City very much in our recent memory, but Millwall was a tough game for Crystal Palace as well, because growing up in the region and supporting the team as a boy, Millwall was the rival that you had to fear and try to beat. So whenever Millwall's name came up, you had trepidation written all over it. So I think that their path to the final was anything but easy, and I think the way they've done it and the style in which they've done it is even more worthy of praise.
Well, they've got something special to look forward to as well now, Roy, haven't they? Because it qualifies them for the Europa League, which is a tournament you know only too well. I remember with Fulham, that fantastic run that you got right to the final against Atletico Madrid. I mean, something really to enjoy as far as Palace fans are concerned.
Oh, absolutely. And it's a great reward, not only for the club itself and all its players. I mean, they're the ones who I suppose are at the forefront of any rewards that are going. But I would also say it's a great reward for the support and faith and belief the fans, which we've already talked about, have been such an important part of this success that they've shown for so many years, really. And it's going to be great for them to get on the road and visit very interesting European places and have those wonderful nights at Selhurst Park. And that's something which I think not only will they look forward to, I think it's something they're going to really enjoy when the evening comes around.
Yeah, those nights, the European nights at Selhurst, they will be special. Those fans may make some noise, Saturday afternoon in the Premier League, so goodness knows what it would be like under the lights in Europe. Roy, thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thanks a lot, Roy.
Nice to see you. Bye, Ali. Thank you.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.